Hey guys and girls, it's Ken here from OK Portugal, and today I have a little bit of a medical emergency. I've been gardening, Gina's lady garden, and I must have just been stung by a bee, and I must have I don't believe it, not again. This is the second time I've been stung by a bee, and anyway, basically, yeah, I was in the lady garden, okay, and I managed to get something into my eye, and look what's happened. My eye is completely, I can't really see out of it, and it's all gone it's gone bright red. All of the white part around the eye is completely swollen, and it's got loads of pressure in it, and it's really painful. And my whole eye is just burning, and so we got to go to the hospital. And I've just been stung by a bee. So the other day we were at a restaurant, and I got stung by a bee. It wasn't like a full-on honey bee. It was one of these, like, it's probably about a third of the size of a regular bee, but it's still a bee, and it stung me on the finger, and I didn't really think much of it. And for the last couple of days I've had like a bit of a histamine reaction, obviously from like the bee stings. I don't know if you saw a video that I did like last year where I got absolutely annihilated by my beehive, and I think I got stung like 20, 30, 40 times or something. I mean, I lost count. Trust that the suit's going to protect you. I just got stung. Oh, we got a whole bunch of bees stinging me again, and I've just been stung in the hand. Oh man, I've been stung in both hands now. This is ridiculous. I've just been stung on my back. Oh, another one through the hand. Oh, that one just got through as well. Oh, okay. So yeah, so I might have a little bit of a histamine problem. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, I was in Gina's lady garden, and basically there must have been something poisonous in there, and I must have got it onto my hands and rubbed it into my eye. And yeah, at this point I can't actually see properly out of my eye anymore, and I can hardly open it. It's like really painful. So yeah, I wonder what it is. And my other eyeball's also starting to feel a bit funny now. So like a typical guy, I haven't actually registered for my sort of medical number, because like a typical guy, I obviously never get sick, even though I've had COVID twice since I've been here for 3 years. But yeah, basically I never really go to the hospital. I never really deem it necessary to go to the hospital. The only time I've actually been to a hospital is when I broke my hand. So yeah, I never really signed up for the number or anything like that, which means that it's going to be complicated. So we're going to go to a private hospital, which is in Covilhã, and then just get seen, and then hopefully they can, like, you know, tell me what the hell's going on. I'm a little bit worried because obviously I can't see out of this eye anymore. I can, but it's like, it looks like someone's just put Vaseline all over my eyeball. And yeah, it's getting really bad now. Like, it's so red and so swollen. The white part's actually sticking out, and I can feel this pressure inside the eyeball. It's not very nice. Wish me luck. Well, this is rather alarming. Both of my eyes are going now. I can't believe this. This one is like starting just on the outer side, and then this one is obviously like really bad, like on the inside. And it's crazy. It like started in about, well, I did the gardening, and then I sat down to answer some emails, and suddenly I just noticed that my eyes were like really dry and sore, and I started rubbing them, and then yeah, next thing you know, this happened. So I don't know what the hell's going on, but anyway, hopefully we'll get to the hospital soon, and they can do something for this. Yeah, so we're just on our way into Covilhã, and now you can see where the fires, well, now you can't see where the fires affected, but yeah, basically there were these huge fires on the Serra da Estrela, and a lot of the mountain burnt, and now you can't see anything. Well, I suppose this episode's all about not being able to see properly, so now you guys can't see properly. But I'll see if I can spot it in a moment, and I'll film it for you. We have arrived. Oh. It's actually a beautiful day today. It's only 31, and it feels much cooler than like the 43 degrees that we've had for like the last, I don't know, month or so. But yeah. The hospital's just here. So it's called Hospital da Luz. What's that? The Hospital of Light. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to film in here, but hopefully I will be able to film some stuff for you guys. Right, so this is not the right place to go. They don't have like emergency stuff, and they don't have someone who can like help me with my eyeballs. So yeah, they've said that I need to go to the Covilhã hospital. I must say it was quite funny. The lady in there, she sort of came up to me and went, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Yes, I've got a little bit of a problem with my eyes." And I lifted up the glasses, and she kind of looked really shocked and horrified. It's quite funny. What you doing, Gina? Do you not know where the hospital is?
Not really.
Oh, I thought you did. I thought you were just taking some time to browse Facebook or something while I'm sitting here with my eyeballs
I know I don't do
bulging out.
sympathy, I only do empathy, but I am trying to get you to the hospital because you do look a bit weird.
I feel a bit weird. There is a plant that we have in the garden. It's well, it's near Gina's lady garden. That's definitely poisonous. It's called American pokeweed. But I don't remember getting any of that on my fingers or anything, but obviously I was working in the garden there, so it might be that. I can feel like my chest is a bit wheezy, and I feel a bit strange, like I feel very light. Not light, I feel very slow. So yeah, so maybe I've been poisoned by something, I'm not entirely sure. Gina, will you still love me when I'm blind?
No.
Hey guys, it's going to be quite challenging. If I go blind, I don't really know how I'm going to film these vlogs for you anymore, so you know, I don't know. Maybe I can do them in Braille or something. I like Covilha. It's very pretty. They've got this big sort of shopping mall over here, the hospital back in the direction over here where we've just come from. It's a pretty cool place. And maybe it'll show it here, but back in that direction on the mountain, that's where the whole mountain was burning. So that must have been pretty scary for people in their houses here watching, imagine at night time, going to bed and seeing like that whole mountain on fire. Pretty crazy. Okay, so we're at Covilha Hospital and we have to go to this little building over here and check in.
Check in here, that's where I checked in 5 foot. So do you want to get out and I'll find somewhere to park?
Yeah, I'm going to check in and yeah, let's do this. So Gina remembers this place well. This is where she broke her, when she broke her leg.
Where I broke my leg,
Well,
where I came.
Yeah. So that building just at the end there. So now it's my turn. So in England, it's a public holiday today. And so Gina isn't working today. So she was supposed to have a nice relaxing day.
A day off.
A day off. And now look at her.
Ken spoils it.
Yeah, she's at the hospital with Ken. Okay, well that took ages. I'm not actually sure what the hell just happened there, but basically I don't have an SNS number, which is like a medical number. So I thought she was signing me up to an SNS number because I've been standing there for about half an hour. So I don't even know what she was doing for half an hour, but apparently now we just got to go in and we got to pay 80 euros for this appointment, even though I am actually a resident of Portugal and I have been for almost 3 years. So yeah, so a little lesson there. Get your SNS number before you need to use the hospital, otherwise you have to pay.
And get your card.
Wow, isn't it always the way? But it actually feels like the swelling's going down now that we sat here in A&E. Gina, is this how you pictured your day going? Right, so I've decided to leave the hospital because I feel like my eye's getting better, you know? Yeah, we've been waiting for about like, I don't know, like 2 hours, no, 2.5 hours. It's been ages and like the queue in front of us wasn't moving, so I just decided that my eyes are feeling a lot better. And they're still a bit swollen and very sore, but I think what I'm going to do is just go to the chemist and get some like drops for like conjunctivitis or something, you know, and yeah, and then I should be good. I think I took cetirizine, which is like, or cetirizine, which is a anti-inflammatory. No, it's not an anti-inflammatory, it's an anti-allergen, antihistamine, yeah. So yeah, there we go. And if it gets worse, then I'll go back. I've got these, just put some of those in. And it seems to be helping, although it felt like I was putting, I don't know, like something really burny in my eyes. But anyway, apparently I'm going to take these for a couple of days and I should be good. Good morning. It's a beautiful day. It's going to be 31 degrees today, which is actually a really nice temperature because it's not too hot, it's not cold, and you can sit outside in the sun and you don't overheat and stuff like that. But anyway, the most important thing is that my eyes are almost normal again. They're still like a bit puffy around the outside. But the actual white parts of the eyes are no longer swollen and stuff. So I'm feeling a lot better. But anyway, this is Portugal Farm Life, and for a while now we haven't really been able to do much in the way of farming. That's because it's been so hot. There's been like a ban on machinery and stuff like that. So that's all about to change. We've got a harvest coming up. I'm standing in our vineyard, and at the moment it's a little bit of a mess. I haven't actually been able to get in here with like strimmers and mowers and things because you're not allowed to use machinery at the moment because of the fire risk. So yeah, excuse a little bit of the mess, but the most important thing here are the grapes because it's grape harvest time. But as you can see, we've got some problems with our grapes. These are like raisins, and these are just really small. They haven't had enough water. You know, we've just come out of a drought, and we've had massive heat waves. In fact, sorry, we've just come out of the heat waves, but we haven't come out of the drought. So it looks like slim pickings this year. You see that, Mimo? Slim pickings. Mimo, I think grapes are poisonous for doggies. I don't think you should be eating that. Now, you probably already know that this year we aren't going to be making our own wine. We haven't bought the equipment to do it. We could see what was happening with the grapes with the drought, and we decided we'll rather not invest the money in the winemaking equipment just yet, and we'll continue to share with our neighbors. So I think that's going to happen a little bit later on this weekend. We're going to start picking these grapes, send them across to our neighbor, and they're going to make some wine. And I think Gina and I are also going to help them with their harvest. So I'm not sure if you guys are going to get a chance to see that in this week's episode, because obviously that's happening like probably the day before this airs, but you'll probably see it in next week's episode. So this is Mimo. She is a little Portuguese dog. She's a mixture of a whole bunch of different breeds. Her mother was a Serra de Estrela, which is like Eddie, but she doesn't really look much like that. She has colorations of a dog called a Rafeiro de Alentejo, and then she has like the hair and the body of like a rough collie. So we're not sure exactly what she is. Now, if you've been watching our videos for a while, you'll know that Mimo contracted a disease called Leishmaniasis, and she's been on treatment for a while. She was actually on chemotherapy. She's on these special tablets to try and basically combat the parasite. And this parasite is something that she's always going to have for the rest of her life. And so, yeah, basically, this first treatment that we've given her is really important. It's there to suppress the parasites and to push the levels of them down so low that they're almost undetectable. She's been on treatment now for quite a while, and today's the day that we're going back to the vets, and we're going to give her a test, and we're going to find out if it's worked or not. I'm really looking forward to this sort of fire risk level dropping so that I can get in here and tidy everything up. As you can see, it's a big mess everywhere. Now, we can already tell that Mimo's doing a lot better than when she first was diagnosed. At that stage, she was actually losing fur all around her face. She had these like big weeping ulcer sores. Her lips went all like pink and mottled and swollen. So she's definitely looking a lot better. So I'm quite positive that the treatment has worked. But obviously we need to find out 100% so we can know whether or not we can stop the treatment. Still on the topic of farming, you probably know that we planted corn this summer. And you probably know from our other videos that the corn was a complete failure, or at least we thought it was a complete failure. So this is our bottom field. This is the only place where we planted corn this year. And as you can see, large areas of it are completely sort of barren and devoid of any plants. But we do actually have corn. We've got about maybe 1/3 of the field is covered in corn. So this has been a very challenging year. We are currently in extreme drought, and we've had this massive heat wave. I think we had 3 heat waves in a row, temperatures going up to 43 degrees. And this is a summer crop that normally you plant and you basically plant it and forget it until it's grown. We don't do any irrigation on it, and yeah, it just basically comes up. By now it should be about sort of waist high, in some parts shoulder high, but unfortunately that isn't the case this year. But it's not too bad, because we thought that we lost everything. You can really tell where all the water is on this field, just judging by where all of the tallest stalks of corn are. And you can actually see all of the patches where there's probably little to no water in comparison. This is the start of a corn cob. So this is basically going to turn into a corn cob, or supposed to turn into a corn cob. And the only way that that's going to happen is if we actually start to irrigate it. As you can see, the plant's getting enough water out of the ground, and also from dew and stuff like that. But it basically can't produce a corn cob unless you give it a lot of water. Now, we're not going to be doing that because we don't want it for corn cobs. We just want this green plant. And what this becomes is sheep food for our neighbor's sheep. So I was really worried that we're going to lose all of this corn this year. Not so much for us, because obviously, you know, we're not actually growing it for ourselves. But I was really worried for our neighbors. You know, they basically eke a living from sheep dairy farming. And this is a very important food source for them here in the summertime. At the moment, prices for everything have gone completely crazy. You know, during this Ukraine war, prices on grains and corn and stuff like that has also skyrocketed. So animal feed is very expensive. And normally this time of year, you'll have fields waist high to shoulder high full of you know, green corn that his sheep can eat. And that's not happening this year. So that means there's going to be a lot of extra pressure on him. So let's hope that these grow a little bit taller. I think that we are due some rain soon as well. According to the weather report, some rain could be happening. I really hope that that is the case and we can start to see some nice big corn plants just like that. All right, so it's time to go to the vet. We can't find Mimo's collar, so she's going to have to wear Dog's collar.
It's a bit big.
Yeah. All right, Mimo, get in. Come on in. Good girl. I don't think Mimo's worked out yet that she's about to go to the vet. Once she works it out, she's not going to be too happy. Right now, she thinks that she's getting special preferential treatment. I think Mimo's starting to figure out what's happening because she's got all shaky. She knows where she's going. Shame, my girl. So this is our vet in Castelo Branco. They're called Vet Beirao, and they're really, really good. Oh, shame. So she's going to have a blood test now, and she's very bad with that. So she's going to be putting up a big fuss. So this is a thing called a leash collar, and it's basically for Leishmaniasis. That's the sandfly, the thing that carries Leishmaniasis. And you can buy these collars. This is one by Scalibor, and there's also another one that you can buy from Seresto. And they both protect against this sandfly. Mima has just realized that we've tricked her and she's starting to get all shaky. Now the vet's going to come and do blood. I'm not going to film that because we need all hands on deck. She's quite difficult with that. And yeah, and then after that they're going to send the results to a lab. So we're not going to have those results today. All right, so this is Mimo's blood sample, and this is going to go off to the lab and it's going to get tested for the amount of parasites in the blood. And they're going to check that against the amount of parasites that, well, from the previous or the first one, and they're going to see whether or not the treatment's worked. But I'm quite confident that it has worked because she's looking good. So this is that Seresto collar that I was talking about earlier. We just have to get another one for Mimo because Eddie pulled the other one off her neck, and we don't know where. Yeah, and it's somewhere on the farm. So you basically put one of these collars around their necks, and it protects them against ticks and fleas and flies and sandflies and mosquitoes and stuff like that. Freedom at last. Shame, poor old Mimo is not very good at the vets. She really, really dislikes the vets, and she starts to go into like serious like shaking and trembling and.
Well, she's nervous.
Yeah.
She's a nervous nipper.
She is. So anyway, she's happy to be out.
She couldn't get in there much quicker.
So the actual medication that she's on, she still has to keep taking that now for at least 6 months. But it's really cheap. It's only €3 for a box. It lasts about a month. So it's not too bad, but hopefully when these blood tests come back, the chemo will have knocked everything back into remission, and those tablets are going to help keep and suppress those parasites from coming back again. So we decided to end on a happy note for her, so it's not just vet and terror. There's a little park which is just in front of us, and we're going to go and take her there for a little sniff. Farm dogs don't really get socialized that much because they just pretty much spend all of their time on the farm. So on the one hand, they're super lucky because they've got all that space around them. But on the other hand, they don't really get to see any other dogs, and they don't get to walk around outside much, outside in public spaces. So this is a pretty cool place. There's like a big lake, all sorts of little ducks and things on it. All these little paths where you can go running and probably cycling and stuff like that. It's the first time I've ever been here. I've never actually seen this before. I have seen it on the map. Gina's been here a couple of times when she's taken her car in for a service. She'll come and walk around here. One over here is the Castelo Branco Municipal Swimming Pool, which is pretty cool. Now I've never actually been here before, but yeah, they've got like a really nice big pool here. It's quite nice to have something like this in the middle of the city. That's the one thing I do love about Portugal, is they do spend quite a bit of money even in like the little villages and stuff, and making these little pretty areas. Even all of the roundabouts are quite special, and they always have something different on them. So it looks like these guys are using a net to dredge and pull out all of this algae. There's obviously tons of it here. This is quite shallow water, it'll be quite warm, and we've just had that massive heat wave and stuff. But I'm loving seeing all these fish. There's a whole bunch of like little black bass down there. There's another type of fish, almost looks like a sunfish. I'm not sure, what, tilapia or something. I'm not 100% sure. And that wraps up another week of Portugal Farm Life. It's been a really busy week. We've had property videos, drone videos. Gina's had her work to do. My eyeball nearly blew up. It's been pretty crazy. But yeah, thank you for watching. And tune in next week, same time, for the next episode of Portugal Farm Life. I believe we're going to be doing a harvest, so it's going to be proper farmy stuff. We'll see you then. Ciao.